A, B, C. A always B, B, C closing. Always be closing.
I remember when the second flight chief took over, and there was that sign on my door. Remember that said I do appointments only, and I remember he walked in. Kind of our first official training session. I had been a recruiter for a little over a year and a half now, or 2 years, and he was like, "What's up?" Says that sign. I was like, I don't do walk-ins. He said, "What do you mean you don't do walk-ins?" He's like, "You got it like that?" And I said, "Well, when I first got here, I didn't, but I created a standard for this office, and in time management, as much as we all hate it, and the little things we have to do for our leaders and our managers so that they can see what we're doing, that was like my own little twist of my personal time management. Was I couldn't afford to have everybody and their mom walking in my office doing like talking to me. And if I miss goal because of it, then so be it. I was never gonna be thirsty, like, and that's so hard not to be. I think in the sales world, in the recruiting world, is like not to be thirsty. But I remember when we sat down, I told him all that, and he said, "Well, guess what? It's obviously been working. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you this breathing room." He's like, "The day it doesn't work, then the sign comes down." And I said, "Bet. That's all I need from you."
That's it.
Yeah.
That I mean, and that you kind of hit it on the nail, like especially when it comes to the thirst.
Oh, the
Like
thirst be real.
even when you're thirsty, you still got to quench that thirst. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But again, that goes back to what we do as military recruiters, and I strongly believe it's like you have to have the confidence to know what you're talking about when it comes to being a recruiter, because like it's not like anything else. You are literally living, breathing the thing you have to offer.
Yeah.
Like the service that you're offering to people. And I kind of had to do like that twist in my head. Like I always tell people, like I don't sell the Air Force. I'm just a very good offerer.
Yeah. Hey.
I'm a
Hey.
hey. Like look, like you if you don't want this, I promise you somebody else will.
Like, you want it? I'll take it back.
You want it? Like, and I think that comes with the confidence. I mean, and it kind of goes back to where when you're joining the military yourself, like that reason why you're joining. So
I was broke, and mom
like,
told me I had
man,
to do something.
that's what I'm saying, man. Like it's I was a junior in high school. I knew I wanted to go to college.
Oh, you were an AFRAP. That's right. That's
Yep,
why. That's why you cookie cutter boy.
man. But like I knew, like I knew from the jump, like okay, I want to go to college. I could probably get through college, but will I do right in college? So, and my recruiter, man, he set the standard of being a recruiter because he was at my school the third Thursday of every month. So that's kind of how I kind of got to know him, and then I went through the process, boom, boom, boom. By everybody, they senior year was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? I gotta take the ACT, I gotta take the SAT, I gotta do these college applications. I'm just like, man, I leave June 21st.
Hey, that's my birthday.
Yeah, see, that's
It was meant to be.
hey, meant to be. You know what I'm saying? Like that's when I left for basic training, and it was just like that. Or for a lot of recruiters, understanding their own origin story of
Yeah. Like their
how
honest
and
origin
why.
story, like the
They're honest.
like
The honest.
real, like the real,
Like the
truth,
real,
the
like the
nitty
truth.
gritty. I tell people all the time, man. When I was a little goon boy. I wasn't doing nothing. I barely I got told I wasn't gonna graduate high school. Like that was the thing. I was going to school though. I was so stupid. Like I thought my wife laughs at me all the time. She's like you actually went to class and you still like wasn't gonna pass high school. And I was like, I didn't go to class to learn. Correction. I went to learn about people. I learned to talk, to socialize, to put myself into circles. I didn't go to learn, Genghis Khan was the third leader of Mongolia. Like, I didn't care about that. Like,
See, I ain't even know that.
yeah, I don't even think that's right. I'm just throwing it out there. See?
See, who knew? Like, honestly, be real. Like, you went to school so your mom wouldn't go to jail.
Exactly.
'Cause,
So I
like,
didn't go to jail. And so they like hit my mom's up, and I went to a meeting, and they was like, "Yo, uh, Cameron ain't gonna graduate. Like he's like sorry, like he's a good kid. He don't cause no trouble. Like like as far as like disciplinary issues, they're like, but he's got like a point 0.6 GPA, like for the senior year. I almost failed high school because of PE, bruh, because they were marking me down because I wasn't wearing the uniform, not participation, because I was always participating, and so yeah, yeah, it's trust me when I tell people that they're like what, and so
Bro, that's like failing lunch.
yes, yes, bro. That's why I tell you. That's why I'm such a good salesman, man. Perspective. I went from failing lunch to owning a house in California.
I give you that. I give you that.
And so
I give you that.
that's what happened, man. And I like and I think I tell you all the time is like there's these little things in my life where I think I realize recruiting or sales probably was going to be where I was supposed to be at because I went to all my teachers and I somehow convinced all of them to give me credit for the work if I did it like hey I'll do the work, I'll sit in my room, can you please just let me pass high school, and they was like okay, like, and I was already signed up for the Air Force too, that's the funny thing, and that, that's got to rapping, that's how it happened, man, like
Hey, but you know what though? Honestly, it kind of molds and shapes the type of recruiter that you are because I know a lot of times you are always like trying to help out that one person. Like, oh man, this person may not graduate. I remember one time you had somebody who was on the brink of not graduating, and you was like talking, and you was talking to him on a regular basis. So that situation helped bridge that gap between you and him to speak on it from your
I was
perspective.
with you at Olive Garden. Remember? It was
Yes.
after that pass test, and
Yep.
I took him to lunch. Him and his girl. They married now, by the way. Him and his girl.
Oh
They are
wow.
married now. Like they're doing good. Jonathan, shout out to you. Yes, but that fool. I remember I got the call from the principal. Because I was straight with the school, and she said, "Hey, Jonathan and his girl, they got like 40 or 50 some absences and he's not gonna graduate." And I remember that. I remember we got in the car. I let him finish his food. I remember he could tell, me, I wear my heart on my sleeve. So he was like, "What's wrong with RBCs?" I was like, "Don't even worry about it, Jonathan. We're going to talk about it in the car." But he graduated and his girl graduated. And now he's like, now they married and they're living Gucci. Like he's in the Air Force. Everything's straight.
But that's where a lot of times we forget that humility side. Like sometimes we get to this position and we're like, oh man. But not only does your origin story and like how you came to be helps you as a recruiter, like knowing the stories of others. I would say that's the biggest thing because I mean like I'm like a light skinned bald head dude. Like I can't relate to everybody in the South, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
but I had the ability to bridge stories from the people that I worked with from back in my old career field,
Yeah.
people I deployed with from the army. And I think that's where like the credibility also comes into play because you got to speak on people's situations that you knew about.
No, yeah, yeah.
And I always tell people, man, keep in contact with the people from your old shop,
Yeah.
from your last base, from your
Yeah.
last post, your last unit. See how they're doing. Like reach out to them. Like, hey, can you talk to this one kid for me about X, Y, and Z? Because that that helps you. Because when you can tell a story, of course, everybody's story is not going to be exactly the same.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But you can find a lot of stories that match 75 to 80% of other people's stories.
So, oh yeah, there's like always that like little piece of like that little nugget of like perception or perspective.
Perspective, yep.
Yeah.
Like you didn't have no lights, man. Shoot, my cousin didn't have no lights either. Like, let me tell you about that.
Let
Like
me
it's
tell you that.
and but I think that's where it is very important as recruiters honestly I learned a whole lot about myself being a recruiter. You just learn like how your mannerisms. I have a tendency to talk with my hands a lot.
Oh,
Doing
yeah,
presentations.
yeah.
Like I'm
I
training
I
people
think I
like
got that from you too. I'll be talking with my hands.
like I talk and But it's just, and to some people, that could be perceived as threatening.
Oh,
To some, it's, I try to tell people, hey, I'm for real. I try, to me, I tell people, like, hey, maybe you should do some type of cultural learning course before you go be a recruiter in an area, especially like if you are, like, if you're not from sunny California and you're from the East Coast, those mentalities just don't mesh that well.
yeah. I ain't
So
gonna lie. I
you,
got a homeboy like that. He's from New York, and I remember I was talking to another friend of mine, and I was like, man, I don't feel like he's being aggressive, but I feel like he's being aggressive. And he's like, man, it's just that East Coast, like, just the way you like, you're from California, he's from the East Coast. It's two different lifestyles, like, boop, like hidden heads.
yep.
I was like, oh, I guess you're right.
And that's what it really comes down to is just, again, understanding yourself, understanding others, understanding the culture.
So 1 year lessons. Let's talk about like your 1 year lessons.
1 year lesson. Ooh,
Actually, scratch that. Let's talk about when we met.
man.
Because to
So
this day, that is one of my funniest stories.
I got you. I got you. So, as a recruiter, you start, once you start doing things and you start making money, like we don't get paid extra money for putting more people in, but when you start working with a lot of people, like you start feeling good. So of course for me, I got this, like, I look like I'm like in an Italian mob. It's an Air Force jumpsuit. And I had my blues. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get to this office early and I'm gonna change.
He was coming to train me.
I was going to train him.
This is how me and Roy met. Is he was my trainer.
and and you was like, who, like, you got an Air Force sweatsuit? Like, yo, you like you live this. And
You were the Nelly of recruiting.
I was in that. I am still the Nelly of recruiting. So
It's the St. Louis thing.
I when I showed up and I put on my blues or whatnot, and we just start going, and like I introduced myself, like, hey, what's going on, and then you just start talking and talking
No filter. No thought.
and talking and talking, and I think we were finally like an hour in. I'm like, look, this is what I got to train you on, and I need you to, like, but you was excited though.
Yeah.
And I think that's another thing that we do, that we kind of mess it up. Like we can be the worst enemies within our own organization. Like we can take that fire out of somebody just because we're upset. Because again, this is like an emotional type job. So you had a lot of emotion, and it was dope. Like it was dope. But if I was having a bad day, I definitely shouldn't have been the one training you that day.
No, you're good and good because I would have turned it around.
Yeah, you would.
I'd be
You
like, yo,
would.
don't come in this office with that. You better go get you a Smoothie King. And come.
You know what
That
I'm
was
saying?
that was your thing, Smoothie King.
Smoothie King,
And
man. I
how's
used
how's your day going, dog? Nah, man, I got a Smoothie King. I'm like, oh man.
walk over to Smoothie King, man. Whatever you enjoy, that is, I mean, like, that don't hurt you. Like, you can't go gambling during the day. But like if you need a Smoothie King, you like Chick-fil-A, going to the movies, and that's another thing that me and you talked about. Like, man, whatever your happy place is, find it, bask in it, because on them days when it's like a bad day, you go to the gym, go for a run. Don't pick up the bottle or nothing like that, because everybody has a vice.
Oh yeah.
Everybody has a vice. Some people shop. Some people go to the movies. Some people go get massages. Some people go to the gym.
Yeah.
It just try to find that positive vice, and like you was already positive, so that was your energy right there. But I mean, you coming into the flight, man, that made it fun. Like I had somebody to match my energy. Actually, you surpassed my energy. Nah, cause I like to have fun, but whoo, you had energy. Yeah, like man, you just be all over. So
I remember you were showing me something, And I think it was probably the third time I had squirreled on whatever you were trying to show me. Cause like and then you were like, all right, stop for a second, and I was like, what's wrong? And you were like, bruh, look at your screen. Then you're like, you're not even on what I asked you to be on. And I was like, well, I know, I'm just trying to do this real quick. And he was like, no, you tried to do 3 things real quick, and you ain't finished any of them.
You ain't did one thing. Like you gotta plan it out. You know what I'm saying? And but that's the
That's like that first year of just learning.
that learning, man. Like that learning curve. Because a lot of time, every recruiter that you talk to, like it just clicks. It's like, man, and everybody was like, when did it click for you? When did it click for you? When did it click for you? And for some people, certain things just click easier and quicker. The people aspect of it, I think that clicked for me within 2 or 3 weeks.
I was about to say, oh yeah, easily.
The administrative part of it, though,
I still don't think you have that down.
I'm a work in progress, but I've gotten better.
Progress, not perfection.
Progress. And the reason why I've gotten better because, like, man, like now that I work for like a lot of recruiters that's up under me, I have to take into consideration the things that they have to deal with, the struggles, the things that make them happy, the things that make them tick. And also allowing them to fall if they need to fall. Like,
indulge and to learn about ourselves.